You might think that building a web app can be overwhelming and complicated, but it's actually not. I will lay out the steps that you can use as a guide to help build your own web app, and these are the steps that I've taken myself, and you can just use it and give it a try. Step 1. Learning the basics first. Before you start creating your app, it is actually good to have a solid foundation on HTML, CSS and JavaScript. They are the foundations to websites and web apps. You don't really need to master it, just have to understand how to create a simple page, style it and make it interactive. You will have to understand things like this, buttons, inputs, etc. for HTML, flexbox positioning, margin, padding, color, etc. for CSS, constant conditional rendering functions, etc. for JavaScript. You can watch tutorials on these concepts in 2x speed to get a rough idea on what they actually do. Step 2. Pick an idea. You actually don't have to look online for project ideas. Sometimes the ideas can be just too boring or just not fun and you do not really feel purposeful when coding. But what I can do and what I do is to find problems that you face or find problems that your friends or family members face and solve the problems. For example, if your friends keep forgetting on what to pack for travel, you can maybe create a packing checklist. Or if you want to track your gym workouts, you can build a simple fitness logger. Or if your friends want to manage your budget, you can build a finance tracker. Basically, for now, build something simple. This way, coding the projects will actually feel purposeful because you're coding to help people and not just coding for the sake of coding. And you will still continue doing the projects when times get tough. Step 3. Choose the right tools. Based on the idea, you will then have to figure out the stack or the framework that you will use. It could be MERN, it could be React, it could be Supabase, LAMP, Min, Python, whatever. But there are 2 criteria that I use to help figure out which stack is good for the app. The first criteria, you pick based on whether you love it or have experience with it. The second criteria, if the stack actually fits the app. For example, my app devsim needed a database. At first, I chose MERN because I was familiar with it. But then I realized that the database type in MERN is not the one that actually fits into my app. In MERN, the database used is MongoDB, and MongoDB is a non-SQL database, meaning it is in a JSON format. So, when I want to manipulate the data, it will get very complicated really easily if the amount of data increases. I then found an alternative database, which then I discovered Supabase, a SQL database. I picked this because it's really easy to use, the data is manipulated in the front end, the data is in a table format, meaning it's easier to manipulate the data when the number of data increases, and you also have authentication. All this means that I don't need a backend and just needed a React and Supabase and that's it. That's why I picked it. Step 4. Learn what you're actually using. If you're using React, learn the React basics like use effect, use state, use ref, etc. If you are using Supabase, you learn how to insert, how to retrieve, how to update the data. Don't learn everything at once, just learn what your app needs. Like if you don't really need authentication now, just skip it for now. Step 6. Figure out your MVP. MVP or minimum viable product is basically the version of your product which is just enough features to be usable by early customers who can then provide feedback for future developments. Then you will use that feedback to build the product to become better. The product in this case is your web app project. So your job in this step is to ask yourself, what are the core 1 to 2 things that this app must do to actually solve the problem? Then once you list down those features, you just think of building the features just good enough to make them work. Maybe around 80%, 90% is good enough. Get the key features solid before you start adding necessary extra stuff. The goal here is to make the app simple and not adding any unnecessary fluff into it. Step 6. Start building. I mean, this app is quite simple, just start coding the features out. Here's how I usually approach building the app. If I'm using MERN stack, I will set up the backend routes, first using Express, Node and MongoDB, then build the front end, and then lastly connect them using CORS. If I'm using React and Supabase like my current app, I just set up the front end and fetch or store data with just 4 lines of code. When you're building, you do not really necessarily have to code everything up from scratch. Chances are there are packages like npm that already did what you want to do. For example, my app needed a way to track the habits. I tried to build the visual tracker myself, but it took too much time and it looks kinda weird. Then I found this package called React Calendar Heatmap, and it looks exactly what I needed. So always check if someone else already built what you are about to build. If it exists, just need to install it and plug it in. Step 7. Use ChatGPT to boost your productivity. When you're stuck, you can use ChatGPT. It can help fix bugs, suggest better ways to write code, explain error messages. Right now, when I'm recording this, ChatGPT 5 has come out and the code is actually quicker and maybe more precise. But sometimes it can give a wrong answer, so you just have to code it yourself or solve the problems yourself. That's why having a strong foundations help, because you will then know on when the problems will come out or how to fix the problem. Also, don't give secret keys or company data or private data to it is not exactly safe. So yeah, these are the rough steps that you can take to help create your own web app. So anyways, that's my opinion. Bye.